Everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee with the Critters. My name is Laura Joseph, owner of the Animal Behavior Center. We're an international educational center where we teach people all over the world how to empower animals and the people that care for them. And we do that through our live streaming services, which you can find on our website at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. Um, we have people joining from all over the world. So I just had to restart this live stream because I was told I didn't have any sound. So I'm going to wait for people to come on and let me know that I have sound. Good morning, Tim. Can you hear me now? So while we wait for people to come back on, we teach people all over the world how to empower animals through B.F. Skinner's laws of behavior using applied behavior analysis. And we do that with an array of animals from giraffe, alligator, wolves, parrots, primates, you name it, we'll train it. And training is a dialogue that not only between ourselves and the animals, and not only are we training the animal is training us, and I am just fine with that. Good morning. Okay, so we are ready to go. So my slides are all out of order, and I have to remember what I need to show. Okay, so there's our blog. For those of you that get our email newsletter will know that I've started writing in my blog again. I think I've made 2 entries so far in the past month. Let me know your feedback on those. And our blog is where we go more in detail on our writing of work with animals, which we use applied behavior analysis with behavior modification, training, and enrichment. Animal welfare and enrichment is our blood type. It's what we are all about, and you can find out how to join our email newsletter list on our website and on our Facebook page. You can also find in both of those areas our upcoming events where I'll be speaking or when I'm giving workshops at the Animal Behavior Center. And speaking of that, next week's Coffee with the Critters will be live from the Parrot Festival in Houston, where I was asked to be a presenter for their 25th anniversary. Let's see, anything else I'm missing? Probably, but we've got so many slides to get through today. This is an extremely important topic of enrichment, showing the enrichment tools and hardware that we do here and that we use at the Animal Behavior Center. We're consistently asked. So I have at least 40 slides to show you of the tools that we use. Good morning, everybody. But before we get started, just a recap of our current work we are working on right now. We have been doing training with the 4 timber wolves and getting them willingly and wantingly to accept training and vaccinations. And I am happy to say all 4 were vaccinated last week. This is showing Jenks right after. These are our timber wolves, and we're working on so much. We're so busy right now, but that's okay. That's what I do. Consistently training in our online advanced applied animal training and behavior membership. We're working with a couple different things. We're working with red rough lemurs behind the scenes. Right now, currently, we are showing step-by-step training on how we're teaching Bruce, the young American alligator, to open his mouth on cue through target training. This is extremely important. The target helps to communicate to Bruce where exactly we're asking him to go in his indoor winter enclosure. And because it's winter right now, we are working on next year's winter enclosure because he is growing so fast, so much. By the time summer is here, he is going to have outgrown his winter enclosure. Here's volunteer Deb Sass, the amazing volunteer working on more environmental enrichment for Bruce's enclosure. Um, so, oh, um, Rachel was working on increased complexity of enrichment with the hornbills, and we know we're successful with the enrichment we're providing when, if we provide it inside the animal's enclosure, they fly back into it willingly when the enclosure doors open and choose not to come out because that enrichment is so mentally and physically stimulating. In our online membership called the Parrot Project, where we focus just on parrots, get ready because I'm getting ready to show you a concern that I am seeing and how we're starting to put a behavior modification plan in place with 2 hyacinth macaws. I've been asked to start showing my work on introducing 2 older parrots to each other who have shown signs in the past of behavior concerns of possibly biting each other. We're getting ready to get that started, and here are 2 parrots that you would have no idea um, that one does not prefer the other. That's getting ready to get started in the Parrot project. And right now we're working on DC. If you saw my live stream yesterday in the Parrot project, DC is come here from Parrot Hope Rescue in Manawa, Ohio, to train him and get him ready for adoption. We're having some behaviors that need addressing that we are showing you in the Parrot project. We are also working behind the scenes and recording every step of the way with our work with 3 red ruff lemurs, introducing them to each other. Because I'll be gone for 5 days at the end of this week in Houston. I am putting trainers in line on the different animals, the wolves, the parrots, the alligator, the lemurs. This, if you can help me continue to do this while I'm gone, it'll help me jump right back in where I need to be when I get back. And this is Deb Sass teaching these 3 lemurs. We've already introduced them in the same enclosure. She's teaching them a station because one of these lemurs tends to be a little overeager with the reinforcer. So there's 3 right there. It's Jackson on the left, Larry in the middle, Red on the right. She is also helping me teach them, starting to put, through operant conditioning to shift on cue, all 3 or individually. And here is a video I took the other day. I wanted to see any behavior concerns when putting in novel stimulus, novel meaning something new. And something they're eager to interact with. I did this through a very basic, simple foraging enrichment, and here's all 3 of them. I wanted to observe behavior to make sure there wasn't any concerns because Larry tends to be a little overeager when he sees something that he wants. And I'm happy to say it went beautifully. So now we know where to begin to start, where to start training them with increased complexities in their enrichment. And last but definitely not least, also in our advanced applied animal training and behavior online membership, I am documenting every single training session. We're working with the 2 timber wolves, Fiona and Smokey Joe, they are showing signs of being very fearful of their automatic heated water on the right side of this particular catch cage. Um, so we are putting a behavior modification plan in place to reduce that fear and get them drinking, willingly drinking out of that auto water. So let's get started on today's topic. It looks like I've got another 20 minutes to talk about this. And this is going to have to be a two-part series because I can't possibly get through all the tools and hardware that we use in providing enrichment. And we provide enrichment to an array of different species of behavior. Different species of animals. And we really focus on preventing abnormal repetitive behaviors. If we do see an abnormal repetitive behavior in an animal's enclosure, we use enrichment to change that. And studies show if you're actually using positive reinforcement training, it is the animal's preferred form of enrichment. And I'm here to tell you that I agree, which is what led me into the field of training because I started out in enrichment, creating enrichment devices, designing enclosures based on enrichment, changing behaviors. That's what led me into going back to school and taking master level classes in applied behavior analysis. And now I also apply that enrichment through training. So here is a tool that I'm going to say is a must-have tool if you're working on enrichment and designing enrichment. This is a hand drill. I prefer using DeWalt products. They've never failed me. And we also use drills. Drill presses. This is a drill press that is probably every bit of 16 years old. I've been using for years. We use this to drill holes in large blocks of wood, huge blocks of wood. If we have to drill holes real deep, we use the drill press. This is a photo of me showing Maya the other day how to use a drill press. And it's important as well that you use a vice grip with these drill presses because they're so powerful that if that block of wood gets out of your control, it'll start spinning just as fast as the drill is. These drill presses, we have a huge tool box full of drill bits. In varying sizes and for varying substrates, whether you're drilling through wood. And let me know if you guys have questions as I go through this. This toolbox is probably every bit of 15 years old as well. We've lost a lot of our drill bits and we've replaced them. I probably should just get a whole new toolkit, but these are drill bits that drill through wood, drill through PVC, drill through metal, and can drill into concrete. So it's really important that you have these varying sizes of drill bits. You don't need them all. Find out what is your goal. I don't know what size drill bit we use to drill eye hooks into substrates. Oh, we also drill into a lot of plastic. Depending on the animal we're providing the enrichment foraging device for. You don't have to start off with all of these drill bits. Buying a huge drill bit toolkit like this can be very pricey. Just start off with 1, 3, 5 different drill bits. Right there, down there in the bottom left-hand corner, I'm trying to read, Forstner bit. We use a lot of those bits and we go through a lot of them. The teeth on them will become dull over time, depending on what substrate you're drilling through. We bore a lot of holes into blocks of wood. We bore a lot of holes out of large pieces of PVC. But with these drill bits, with this you can probably, I'm sure, look any of this up on Amazon, and you can probably purchase this key individually. But this is, we've modified this and we use something else, and I'll show that why in the next live stream, which is why this is uh, going to be a two-part series. But you can take this little, I call it a key, I don't know what it's really called, and put it over the top of, say you want to drill bottle caps into a piece of wood. You can take this key over top of the bottle cap. You would need a larger key than this, and measure the size hole that you need to drill, and then pair it up with the correct size drill bit. So that drill bit fits snugly into this key, then you know you're drilling the correct size hole. We have tips and tricks that we use in case we drill the wrong size hole. But here is a more up close photo of the drill bits that are some of our favored ones. You see they've got these really sharp, jagged edges. That tip, that point in the middle, will start the hole when you're putting it in into the substrate. These drill bits we use primarily with the drill presses. I showed you two. One was a floor model, which will cost you, I don't know, anywhere from $800 to $2,000. We have one of those, and we ended up wanting to get another one because we're doing so much enrichment per day that we want to be able, two people to be boring holes in large blocks of wood or containers at a time. So we went out and purchased a tabletop one. And I bought that probably 2 years ago, and I cannot remember how much I spent on it. But if you guys email me, and you can email me right here at laura@theanimalbehaviorcenter.com, I will see your email, and I will go look at the drill press, and I will find out how much we spent on this and where we purchased it. So, uh, yes, so a must-have you need in your home is that hand power drill. If you want to drill larger holes in larger pieces of wood, I would suggest getting that tabletop drill press that I had showed earlier with Maya using it. When you're drilling into plastic containers, PVC, wood, a lot of times you'll want to, depending on the species of animal, especially if it's with the wolves, if you're following the work that we're doing with the wolves, you're seeing us increasing their complexity and substrates in the enrichment we're providing them. When you're drilling through these large plastic containers, it will leave jagged edges. That's not so much a concern if you're working with an advanced foraging parrot, because they chew through wood and they're going to rip up those edges of wood anyways. But if you're working with something like a wolf, where we're drilling holes like this big into PVC and plastic containers, it will leave those jagged edges. If the wolf's tongue goes in there, it's likely to be an aversive, cause pain, or cut them. So we buy sandpaper, really tough grit sandpaper by the roll, so we can snip it off and either use a power sander with it. Sometimes we use a Dremel. If you have a parrot, everybody should probably have that Dremel in their facility, organization, or household anyways. So the Dremel can take off, depending on the bit that the head that you use on those, can take off those sharp edges. Otherwise, we just cut this into like maybe 2-inch strips, fold it in half so it fits our hand, and we go in and sand down those containers. Next, some of these tools, I may not be using the right description of what they're called because I just walk into the hardware store and say, I need one of those things that does this, and they'll tell me the name, and I'm like, I don't know, show it to me. Yep, that's it. So we use, this was given to us a couple of years ago by a very good friend of mine, Candy Boardman. She's like, "Hey, you have any need for this?" And I was like, "Yeah." So, table saw, I don't know if that's what it's called, but it drills into the top of a table and it's electric powered. If you drill through a lot of wood, we drill through, or not drill, we cut large boards, 4x4s, 2x4s, 1x1s, whatever, with these. Um, you're going to want to make sure you're wearing your safety glasses with all of these tools. This has a protective shield on it to help prevent you from cutting your hands. You can move the table at the bottom to whatever degree that you want to cut perches, to cut corners, to make doors, to make frames, to make training platforms. We use this quite a bit. I have no idea how much it would cost. But if you're drilling or cutting larger pieces of wood or plastic or what have you, you'll want that. If not, you can use, I think this is called a miter saw, I don't know, a hand saw. You can tell that we use the table saw above it a lot more often because this one is covered in cobwebs. But I do need to get back to using this because this is fabulous. These are battery operated when you're going outside to build a tabletop training platform, whatever. Um, you can use this for building enclosures, aviaries, um, trees. We use a lot of tree trunks, tree branches, tree limbs. Sometimes we're cutting trees, large branches like this, for animals to either perch on, stand on, walk on, legs for tabletops for raising the animal to eye level if you need it for training. Let's see, a couple other things. Oh, you definitely want to use your safety glasses. We have 2 or 3 pairs of safety glasses right there next to our drill presses. You definitely want to use it when you're using the table saw because you never know when some of this stuff kicks back in your face. Be very careful with some of these tools, especially that table saw. So we're always promoting using the glasses for protection. Something else, this is going to come in so handy because we at one point made a lot of enrichment from fire hose. The positive punisher of our behavior of not making it anymore was cutting it. We have a lot of fire hose, and we just got this tool donated to us by the awesome Ernie. He brought us in a brand new one, and we are going to be able to cut through the fire hose now so we can make hanging swings, hammocks for the lemurs. The lemurs love their hammocks, and we want to make sure we're able to provide new ones. I don't know if that's also a grinding tool, but we could use it in numerous different areas if we have to grind off a nail or a screw that is poking through an enclosure or enrichment. And those of you that work with USDA know that's extremely important. Another tool that I love, especially in the summer, we bought this a couple years ago, is our Sawzall. So the center is located in and next to a woods. So when a tree falls, we're like, boop, enrichment. And if it's too long, we just hook this thing up, battery powered, another DeWalt product. And no, I am not getting any compensation from them. That we take out and cut up fallen trees and branches into enrichment. Let's see, what else do we have? Let's work with a couple of hand tools that are very easy for you and affordable to use if you're making enrichment. PVC cutters, a must. We love PVC. It's so versatile, can be used between species. It can be used with almost any different species. We make enrichment out of this, hand toys, foot toys, ceiling protectors to, we also use the ceiling protectors to create length without that things that need to be hung from a ceiling so we don't get a parrot or a primate's fingers, toes, beak stuck in them. We will use the ceiling protectors to create length to bring the enrichment device down to where the animal can get to it without getting their fingers or toes or beaks caught in chain. If you use metal chain, I don't like using long pieces of metal chain. Any of you that have been to one of our enrichment workshops know what we do as an alternative for chain. We'll either drop the chain through a 1/2 inch piece of PVC pipe, where you can attach that with end caps and eye screws. But these PVC cutters, these will cut, um, I think these are too big for 2-inch PVC pipe, but you can use these for 1 inch, which we use a lot. We use 1 inch a lot. We use 2-inch a lot. We're getting ready to start using larger ones for numerous different reasons to create like a squeeze chute for a lemur, to train a lemur to go through, to accept vaccinations, which I'm also doing that right now. But I didn't even have to use the squeeze chute. I just used hand targets, and I've got them lining up, ready to accept their vaccinations through full contact and protected contact. We're getting ready to use the PVC pipe to call an alligator into, using target training to crate train him. But you also know that if you're working with parrots, it is extremely important. It's extremely important to any animal. Keep them used to change, and you do this through shaping, because an unchanging, stagnant environment can lead to behavior issues, abnormal repetitive behaviors, which often turn into medical issues. Um, so we use these PVC cutters right now. You see, those of you that are in the Parrot project we're showing you how we're making multi-level play stations for birds to come out on throughout the day. All of our birds get out every single day and moving. And if they're not out on these play stations, they're moving into an enclosure across the room than what they're used to, because it keeps them used to change. Especially, this is really important for parrots. It's really important for every animal, but I see many abnormal repetitive behaviors that lead to feather destructive behaviors, which lead to self-injurious behaviors in parrots, because they aren't used to change. They're in stagnant environments, and their environments aren't changing daily. Studies also show that most enclosures and enrichment to animals lack problem-solving opportunities. And I am here to tell you that is true. Another tool we use a lot in many different sizes are our wire snips. We use this for cutting pieces of wire, numerous different size. If we're going to introduce two animals to each other, we usually get them next to each other, well, depending on the situation. However far apart they need to be comfortable for us to start training them being closer, which you're going to see a lot on in my presentation this upcoming weekend in Houston. We'll use wire snips to start wire in between two animals. We just did this with the lemurs. But depending on the species of animals, we'll choose wire that's really small, and then we slowly increase the size of the wire as we're observing them, training or using behavior modification if need be. So wire snips are a must, especially if you're building enrichment out of wire, which those of you have seen our enrichment basket with numerous different species. We use these wire snips. Here's volunteer Sherry the other day when I was like, I'm doing a live stream this weekend on what tools are most important. She's like, these right here. So this is one of the most important tools for Sherry that she works on. She works with really detailed, um, a lot of detailed work with enrichment. She likes these tiny little snips. These will cut through thin pieces of wire, leather, poly rope, which you can find the poly rope on our website now in spools of, I think, 500 feet. Um, oh, speak of the devil, there it is. Here's a 500-foot spool of poly rope that Sherry uses those little snips on. We get those on Google. You can find them on Google. I know I am really pushing the limit right now. So what I have about 30 more slides to show you, and it is the tools we make to hammer in what we hammer into. So let's save that for part 2 of Coffee with the Critters on animal or tool and hardware must have, because I haven't even got into the hardware. This is a live stream that's highly requested. So speaking of that, we have our Parrot Enrichment Workshop coming up, which is half sold out. That is in April. You can find that on our website. We have our annual workshop that we have that sells out every year, Understanding Behavior and Applied Behavior Analysis through working with birds, and how it fine-tunes your technique to improve your dog training skills, your primate training skills, whatever animal you're training, your aquatic animals. We also have our multi-species workshops. You'll see these popping up in June and July. So you can find out more about those on our website at theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. We also have people booking some of our other services, which are a day with the trainer, which you can stand by my side for 1, 2, or 3 days, where you get my full attention and you work side by side with me and showing you how I'm doing the training that I'm doing. And I answer any questions and put you as the trainer if you have questions on something you're training. Um, so if you're interested in our services, we also have those annual online services. We have our foundations, which is for understanding behavior, how it works, primarily with companion animals. We have our advanced applied, which we're showing this is more for professionals or people who want more live streams per week in detail. We also have the Parrot Project, which is focused just on parrots and is extremely popular. We have our webinars, which you can look at on our website, theanimalbehaviorcenter.com. We have them focused just on behavior. We have them focused on particular species, whatever you want, parrots, pigs. We also have an upcoming guest, and if you are on our email newsletter, you are going to want to mark your calendar and do not miss February 11th, Sunday, February 11th. We will have Sabrina and Garrett on from the popular podcast called I Know Dino. We're talking about the topic right now, but it is going to be fascinating. And I'm going to get in touch with them, see if they want to send me some kind of slides. That will be at 4 p.m. Note the time difference on February 11th. And with that being said, I will see hopefully some of you next weekend in Houston. If not, I will see you back here on Coffee with the Critters. Next Sunday, we'll announce the time in Houston. And the Sunday after that, let's have a part 2 of this so I can try to get through the tools, the rest of the hand tools and the hardware we use. Okay, thank you, everybody. And I will see you next Sunday on Coffee with the Critters. All right, take care. Don't forget to sign